Today, we're making loaded smoky Tex-Mex chicken and veggie stew. Boy, it's a mouthful. And there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of vegetables today. I'm going to go ahead and prep the vegetables first, and then we'll show you how easy it is to make this stew for 8. Chopped carrots. Like the carrots, there's supposed to be 2 cups worth of bell peppers. We're a little short, but we'll be okay. One of the peppers was bad. It's supposed to be 2 cups of zucchini. Well, it was a little bigger than 2 cups. So we're going to put it in a separate container and we're going to see if it all fits. If it all fits, great. This is a loaded stew. It's loaded with vegetables. It may just have a few more zucchinis. The last veggie we're prepping right now, because we're going to do the green beans the way they are, is sweet potato. Now, you can roast the sweet potato separately, or you can throw it in like we're going to do in the Instapot today. If you're really watching your carb content, you may want to roast them and add them as a little more sparingly, but we like sweet potatoes. They're going in. Okay, I lied. We also had onions, but I already had those pre-cut. It's 1 large onion, and that's a little more than 1, but that's okay. We like onions. So these are all the vegetables we're going to need. And we're going to get working on our spices next. All right, so when I'm doing spices while I'm cooking, and there's a lot of them, I like to put them in a small container so that they're ready to go. So with salt, we need 2 teaspoons of sea salt. And add that now. I've got pink Himalayan today that I'm using. I like to save my Celtic until I get a bigger container for other things. We're going to have 1 teaspoon of pepper. We have a ½ teaspoon of garlic. My garlic powder needs a little breaking up. Onion powder, ½ teaspoon as well. And then cayenne pepper. This is one I actually didn't have in my spice drawers. This is a new addition. We do a ¼ teaspoon, and we will measure this carefully because, as I remember, that stuff hot. All right, and then we have 1 teaspoon of cumin chili powder and 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. All right, so cumin is one of the most widely used spices in my drawer these days. Seems to be in everything. So 1 teaspoon of that, 1 teaspoon of the chili powder, and 2, I guess it's Smoky, loaded Smoky Tex-Mex chicken. So we want a little extra smoke. So 2 teaspoons of the smoked paprika. This way, when I'm cooking, trying to keep things from sticking and everything, I just toss this in. I don't have to try and scoop it all in one thing at a time while I'm cooking, and it just allows me to pay attention better. All right, so it's time to start cooking, and this is where it gets easy. You know, the thing that takes the most time is getting the vegetables prepped. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. My olive oil seems to be missing, so we're going to use avocado oil, which will work just fine. And if you hear the click-clacking of toenails, that's my 16-year-old husky walking around. She's woken up for a minute and wants to see what's happening. All right, so just make sure that's all through there, and then we're going to add our onion and put this bad boy on saute. Probably should let it get hot first, but we will live. So I'm going to saute this for 3 to 4 minutes. And then I'm going to add the chicken and brown that for 4 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll come back. So as you can see, my chicken has started to brown. My onions are translucent. They smell delicious, and it's time to move on to the next step. before I do that, just want to show you that I kind of stirred up all of the spices because I'm going to add it in at different stages as I'm throwing it in, so it never gets all clumped up around like all over the meat, or you don't get big clumps of stuff. Later on, that could be important. Okay, to get our vegetables to start softening up, we're going to add our sweet potatoes. This has sweet potatoes, peppers, and carrots. But before I throw it all in, I'm going to throw in a layer of the spices, stir it up a bit. Now that really makes it start to smell good. I'm going to add some more carrots, bell peppers, and sweet potatoes are all in there. What's left? Well, you know, the one I may have too much of. Let's add some more spices. And actually, all of it should mix in together really well as the spices, as we add the broth and the tomatoes. Well, I'm going to throw it in there. With the Instapot, there's a line, and you're not supposed to go past that with liquid. But as far as I know, and it hasn't blown up on me yet, you can go past that with the solid food. So we'll see what happens. Now let's get the last of the spices in here. We have a very full pot. And later on, we have to add beans, but this will cook down some, right? So it'll be okay. And if we don't have beans, it'll just be a little bit less loaded than the recipe calls for. So we're supposed to do this for 3 minutes, and then we add our broth and our tomatoes. Both ready to go, lids off. It's a whole box, it's a whole can, so that's really super simple. While we're letting this cook a little bit, just want to let you know, one of the reasons I love the Instapot is because while I was sautéing and browning, I had a lot of extra time on my hands. So all the measuring spoons, the knives, the cutting board, all the containers except for these that I just have the vegetables in are already washed and or in the dishwasher. You know, super simple. And then all the spices are put away. Oh yeah, this can go in there. All the spices are put away. The oil's put away. What happens at the end is that you just don't have a lot of mess. And I find when I cook on the stove, that's not always the case. So that doesn't mean I don't cook on the stove. That just means that I love my Instapot. All right, so we've got another minute and a half of this. This will start to get some of those hard vegetables a little bit softer. And then we're going to throw it on high pressure for 10 minutes. And then we let it release naturally for 10 minutes, which just means we have it sealed. And when we're done with the high pressure, we just let it sit for 10 minutes. And then we release the lid, okay? So some are a quick release. You get done with the high pressure and then you just immediately release it. Others, you do a natural release. This is a natural release, which lets it cook a little bit more. And then we stir in the green beans. If there's too much liquid, which I really don't think there will be, but if there's too much liquid, then you let it simmer or saute for a bit, and that'll take care of burning some of that off. But you know, stew, soup, I'm pretty easy. I know the liquid is full of all the nutrients that boil out of the veggies, so it's good stuff no matter whether you like it thick or thin. All right, we're at about the point where I think we're about 3 minutes in. I'm gonna stir it a little bit more, just kind of look at the sweet potatoes are starting to get a little liquid in there. They're ready to they're ready to go. So all we have to add, I'm gonna have to clean off this counter from that spoon, aren't I? All I'm gonna have to add is the broth. And it says to stir well, but I'm just gonna try and put it over the, so everybody's getting a little broth. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on high now because it's not, so we gotta turn her off and turn it on high for 10 minutes. Woo, doggies, that liquid line is right there. Well, if it blows up, watch the local news, because that is right on the line. Maybe a skosh over. I'm sure they built in a little extra space for people like me who like to stretch the limits. Maybe I shouldn't have put all that zucchini in. And there was, there was a little extra chicken too, because they gave me 3 pounds instead of 2.5. I had them cut it. It's supposed to be 1-inch squares. As you can see, they're more like 1 inch by 1 inch by 2, but that will work. It's still chopped up. The recipe didn't call for it, but I like to do it already pre-chopped. And one of the things on my list is to get better knives and to really learn how to sharpen them so that cutting chicken is not as much of a problem as it is for me right now, mostly in my head. All right, so put on the lid, make sure that it's set to sealed, and then you wait for it to come to pressure. It'll cook for 10 minutes. We'll let it set for 10 minutes. Then we'll open it up if we haven't blown up, and we will see how delicious it smells. And then we'll add our green beans, and we are done. So you see how simple this recipe is. I mean, the most time-intensive thing is cutting up the vegetables, but if you like vegetables, that's worth it. So we're going to go ahead and pause here, and we'll come back and show you the nearly finished product. Our stew is nearly done. All I have to do is add the green beans. I don't know if you can tell, but I decided to snap them, reliving old childhood memories. I very quickly remembered why I didn't like doing that as a child. So we're going to throw these in here. The steam is all gone from the pot, the pressure, but it is still, it was boiling, bubbling really hard. It took a long time for the steam to go down. And we're supposed to just stir them in. I don't have a problem with the amount of liquid. It is over the line and nothing blew up. But it started at or pretty close to it. All right. So I'm going to show you what this looks like here, and then we'll show you what we're going to do with it. And there's your stew. How delicious does that look? It's very colorful. Now that we're done, all we have to do is simply put it into our containers, right? It's a little hot, and I don't want to, I want to let the green beans go for a little bit, but I have 2 different sizes. This one is for storage, right? So I can have 2, depending on who's eating it, 2 to 3 meals in these 35-ounce glass containers. Those will go in the fridge for this week. Others will go out in the freezer. These little 12-ounce jobbies, these are for my daughter and my girlfriend's daughter that they can have for their lunch. So I'm going to be careful because they are warm. Make sure I get chunks of chicken and all the different veggies in there. And of course, a good amount of the liquid. And then wipe the lid real quick, and they can have these for their lunch. Now, obviously, before I put the lid on, I'm going to let it completely come to a room temperature. But we are going to try it. See if we can get a little, oh, there we go, a little hunk of chicken and sweet potato, and try and get a little bit of everything. Oh yeah, she's very hot. but we'll see how the green beans are. Mm. You see me dancing. That's because it's very, very hot. Green beans still need a little more time, but that won't take very long. Green beans will soak up some of that water, and they'll be done in not too much time while I'm letting this sit. But man, it's hot. But it is super tasty. The spice packet that is in there, you can taste the cayenne pepper. You've got the smokiness. It's just a really nice mix of flavors, and there's a lot of veggies. It's not quite chicken soup, right? There's no pasta, which really cuts down on the carb side of things. This is really good. Speaking of which, let me give you the macros and the costs on this, estimated costs. So a serving, this was supposed to make 8, but I'm guessing I've got 9 or 10 because I had extra chicken, I had extra zucchini, right? So that all adds up. 475 calories, 40 grams of protein, only 38 grams of carbs. When you can have your protein exceed your carbs, that's a good deal. 10 grams of fiber, which cuts down that net carbs to 28, and only 14 grams of fat, 690 milligrams of sodium. So this is a really good macro-friendly. This is going to be good for your blood sugar levels and your insulin response. In Kalamazoo, I used the chat GPT to estimate what this would cost per serving. And for us, it's $3.10 per serving. In Calgary, because we have members in our group in Calgary, it's $3.70 per serving. And in Denmark, it is 14.6 DKK. And I have no idea what a DKK is, but I'm putting it in there because in our meal prep community at school.com/meal prep, we have people from both those countries. So we just like to show how cheap it is compared to the average in America of $6 for a homemade meal, $16 for takeout, and $25 or more for going out to eat at a restaurant. So there you have it. This is a recipe we're going to keep around for our loaded, smoky Tex-Mex chicken and veggie stew. If you like veggies, you like chicken, you like a little bit of heat, this is a great one to cook.